And what's going on, guys? Kale here coming at you with another video. Again, those of you new to the channel, I am an endgame player with 4 accounts now. We are currently on the newest account, which is Caraxes, and this is going to be part 2 of our new player guide on kind of like what to focus on and, you know, what you essentially should be building, in my opinion. So anyway, we talked about in part 1 about selecting your main team, and I encourage you to pick a meta raid team and kind of start building from there. Now, what I also want to talk about is another kind of very important part of this game is managing your resources. And what we're going to go into, 2 things. First and foremost, managing gold and training materials. They will seem rather abundant early on in the game, and they're going to get quite a bit scarcer as you go along. So what I would highly encourage is make sure when you are spending your training materials, when you're spending your gold, you're doing it basically on that primary raid team first. And a good idea is to always keep them up with your current level. So I'm currently in the process of bringing my last, mainly 3 for the most part. Dagger is here, but I'm working on bringing these last 3 up to level 63 and kind of keep them up to par with my level. Now, you'll notice, aside from that, though, most of my other characters, I haven't really built up too much. You know, there are going to be certain characters that do have some levels on them. Like the shield minions here are built up a little bit, basically to help me clear the Iron Man legendary content. And then you'll notice there's some other characters, like there's going to be some random heroes, random villains that are built up a little bit. And what I want to say is when you're building up these characters, the only reason you're building them is basically just to clear content. Now, in order to manage your resources, you need to get gear to build up those characters, and you're going to get gear primarily through the campaigns. So you'll notice here, you know, you want to obviously 3-star, that way you can farm stuff easily, but what I would suggest is as you're building up these characters, if you can use a raid team to do it, awesome. So like in my case, Bionic Avengers are all heroes, so I was able to put as much gear as I wanted in them, and they were easily able to clear this heroes content. And, you know, because of that, I'm now able to farm gear from these nodes. Same thing, you know, we'll go in with villains. You know, pick 5 good villain characters. And again, you want to look at kind of meta characters, characters you might be using in later content. So like a character like Nemesis, who is a villain, is going to be good for this type of content. And again, you're basically just getting them high enough so you can clear the content. Again, we'll kind of go over the Nexus. The Nexus is nice because there is no kind of trait requirement. So again, I was able to take in my raid team, Bionic Avengers, and basically full clear this. And that's how you start getting access to some of the purple gear, and so on and so forth. Cosmic, again, you can take in Cosmic characters, just get them to the point where they can clear the nodes. And one thing I also want to touch on also is you don't necessarily need to bring in a full Cosmic team to clear this content. So you'll look here, and this is the 5 Cosmic characters that auto-populate for me. But in all actuality, I actually never used Kree Noble because she isn't really that powered. So I actually went through with just 4 characters and I cleared this content. So you don't always necessarily have to bring in 5 characters. You could bring in 4. If you had 3 really good ones, you could bring in 3 characters. You know, just because the game makes you do 5 characters doesn't mean you always have to, at least in this type of content. Same thing with Mystic. Again, I am actually still working through Mystic, but again, the same thing is I only brought in the Mystic characters. In this case, I do have a full team of 5, but I only brought in, you know, characters that I've got used somewhere. So, like Mr. Negative, you get him for free. I wouldn't invest too much in him, but he is really good in war. He's also a good Cosmic Crucible character. Thor over here is part of a fairly meta war defense team, the Hero Asgardians, as well as used for a Scourge. Hela is a duo in a good war team with a zombie Iron Man if you happen to unlock him. We talked about Black Panther in the last one, and Cersei is a good character for Mystic. So I am making my way through this content, and I will finish kind of clearing this out. But yeah, so you definitely want to make sure you have all the campaigns kind of 3-starred as far as you can go. I would say Doom content probably isn't as relevant as it used to be. But when you do get access to the Heroes Hard and the Villains Hard, definitely something to focus on again. So that's how you're going to get most of your gear, kind of farmable on a daily basis. The other way you have access to gear is going to be in the stores. Now, what I will say is buying purple gear and even orange gear once it does become available, and blue gear, is very tempting, but I think it's going to drain your gold pretty quickly. So really all I buy currently in the gold supply store is actually, I just buy 3 green pieces a day, and that's just to clear the daily objective. Other than that, like blue, purple, and eventually orange and teal gear, I'm going to farm from either orbs or nodes. So that's really all I use to buy here. When you do get access to teal gear, you will probably be buying teal pieces from this store, but for the most part, I don't currently use that, and that's how I'm able to kind of maintain a nice bit of gold. The Blitz store, I only am farming actually the Blitz orb, and we'll talk about that as well. Raid store, again, I'm not farming gear. Pretty much anything under orange gear, I would say probably isn't worth farming out of the raid store. You are eventually going to get to the point where teal gear will be available here as well. Actually, I don't think teal gear is available here. Let me just quickly check something real quick. Bear with me. Yeah, so the raid store is just orange gear. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you have like an excess of raid credits. So really, the only materials I farm out of here are hero uniques, and I'll kind of talk on those in a second. In the arena store, rather, again, it's kind of to depend on what you're looking at. So I am actually currently farming Dagger as part of that Mystic team, which we talked about, and I am also farming M'Baku, who is part of the Wakandans team. So it's going to depend on what is good for you. If you can farm one of your raid characters, awesome, or a character that is going to help you in further content. And in M'Baku's case, it is for that monthly event, the Dark Promotion credits. In the Cosmic Crucible store, again, I am farming my raid character, so I've chosen Hulkbuster here, as I am working on Bionic Avengers. But other good options, Gambit is a good farming out of here, as well as Abomination. My goal with Caraxes is I will get Hulkbuster to 6 stars, and then I'll kind of start farming these two as they are Horseman teams. The other thing I want to touch on here is that it's going to be really, really tempting to buy this purple gear with your silver credits, your regular Crucible credits, but try to avoid it. Purple gear is eventually not going to become an issue for you, and you're going to want to save these credits for when you get access to teal gear. And this is going to be your primary access point for teal gear, as well as the G17 mini uniques that are really only found in 2 places, in this store and in one of the supply store orbs. In the Elite store, it's going to be really tempting to add, stars on your characters, for 1 star, etc. Try to resist, because eventually you're going to start opening up red star orbs a lot more frequently, and you're going to get these characters organically to these red stars. And you're going to want to save these credits. They are finite. You're only going to get so many a month. So you're going to want to save these for meta characters that you weren't able to pull 5 red on, or use the gold ones for characters you weren't able to pull 6 red on. In very rare cases, I don't normally buy a character to 7 red stars. There's very few exceptions. Now, in your ISO 8 store, while you are kind of mass farming ISO 8 ions, it's okay to buy from the store. I basically cap things out once I get to 81. 81 is enough to take a character to green 5. However, if you find yourself getting below 1 million ions, it might be time to start not buying from the supply store and kind of hoard a little bit. But yeah, while you're above 1 million, you can definitely buy these. It'll help kind of boost you up in the ISO 8 field. Next, we are going to talk about your orbs and basically what you're using them for. Premium orbs, you can open as you get them. I kind of buy into the tinfoil hat aspect, and I open these when I get them to 10, and I open them one at a time. Does it actually do anything? I don't know, but I always seem to get better pulls when I open 10 at a time. There is obviously nothing wrong with opening them as you get them. Red Star Orbs, what I'm going to say, it may not seem like a good idea in the beginning, but it's definitely going to help you out in the long term. And you're only going to want to open Red Star Orbs when there is the 10 times Dark Promotion credits. And those are these right here. And basically that's going to be running whenever there is not a featured character. And the reason I say to hold your Red Star Orbs for that is because these Dark Promotion credits is going to be the only way you're going to be able to get higher red stars on your Horseman characters. So your Morgan Le Fay, your Rogue, your Red Hulk, your Archangel, probably even Apocalypse. So the more you can stockpile these, the better. So while you might be missing out on the featured character, you're eventually going to get red stars for them anyway. What you can then do is open the Elite Orbs, and we'll talk about when we get that back to the Elite store. You open your Elite Orbs when there's a featured character. Blitz Orbs, these just kind of come and go with the character. Chosen Orb, this is with the event campaign that's going on. Again, I kind of subscribe into that crazy, 10 orb theory, and I open these up when I get 10. Again, it's a tinfoil hat thing. There's no scientific proof behind it. I just seem to get better drops when I open orbs in 10s. These are just kind of random orbs. Basic orbs, again, I will open these, again, crazy tinfoil hat theory, but I open them when I get to 10. I don't open these ones one at a time, though. I'll just open these in a mass. Again, there's really no logic to that. You can open them as you need them. Gold orbs is definitely something. I have 130 of these, and you might be asking, Kale/Caraxes, why are you not opening your gold orbs? And the reason is I don't need to right now. I still have, 3.5 mil gold, so there's really not a reason to open these yet. And if you're managing your gold correctly, you can open these when you need to. So periodically, Scopely will do gold spending events, and it's nice to have a stockpile of gold to be able to open it then. Unfortunately, over the last year or so, this has become Marvel's hoarding force, and as much as you can hold on to resources, the better. Legacy 3 orbs, again, I subscribe to 10 orb theory, so I'll open these when I get to 10. You'll get some fairly good characters out of there from year 3. These orbs here are going to basically be whale offers only. Legacy 2 orbs, again, 10 orb theory, same thing with Legacy 1. T2 orbs, T3 orbs, training material orbs, T1 orbs. I all subscribe to 10 orb theory. Now, if you need the resources, go ahead and open them. If you're finding yourself with a shortage of T1s, go ahead and open them. T3s, T2s, etc. Mega Orbs is the only one I probably don't subscribe to 10 Orb Theory. I'll open these as I get them, and that's going to be how you're getting some of the rare characters. And you'll notice, basically, an uncommon drop, you'll get 100 shards of one of these characters. And the purpose of a Mega Orb is actually to give you enough shards to unlock. So basically, all these characters that are showing here are 100 shard characters. These as well. Just kind of in rarity. And then down here, your more common ones are 50 shards, and this will basically be because these characters unlock at 50 shards. The ones here, these uncommon, these are just kind of boosted drops. But the 10% ones, all of these characters are going to be 100 shard unlocks. And there are some pretty good characters here. You do have some good raid characters. You've got some just meta characters in general. So this is where I was talking about in that video, the RNG of it. And then lastly, the last orb down here is Milestone 3. This is basically where you're going to be getting Kestrel and Deathpool, and again, I'm a wackadoodle and I subscribe to 10 Orb Theory here. Blitz Orb, and in this Blitz store, this is a great way to basically kind of farm your purple gear, as you know, the nodes sometimes might be a little harder to get to. So you can open these, you're going to get these through various events and blitzing. So like currently I am working on my Bionic Avengers. They are all tech, so opening 10 of these, orbs is going to help me build up my Bionic Avengers. And I'll basically be using these purple orbs as a way to kind of fast track getting my Bionic Avenger teams to, gear tier 11, which is the highest I can take them to. The other orb that I think is kind of worth the bang for the buck is going to be this Blitz Orb, and you guessed it, I like to do it when I get to 10. So once I get enough Blitz credits to open 10 orbs, I'll open these up, and it's kind of a nice, generic, well-rounded way of farming all of these characters that are in the Blitz store, and you'll notice it's a lot cheaper. So if I was to buy, one of these characters, it would cost me 500, whereas in the Blitz orb, it's only 350. So it's kind of just a, you're not specifically target farming anything, but you're able to farm everything for a little bit cheaper. In the raid store, again, the orbs, I'm primarily farming this with my raid credits. Again, I do 10 orb theory. There's no reason to do that, though. You can kind of open them one at a time if you like. But once I get roughly about 9,000 credits, I have enough to open 10 orbs, and I'll go ahead and do that. Also, blue gear orbs, this is going to kind of speed up farming blue gear. I open these as I get these. For whatever reason, I don't subscribe to 10 orb theory on these ones. And purple gear, same thing, I'll open these. Now, because I can't access any orange gear or any orange elite gear, so basically this orb right here is going to get you G13 pieces, and this here is going to get you G14 pieces. I've just been saving them. I can't use them currently, so I've just been holding on to them. Same thing with the teal gear orb here, and even the teal elite orb, which we won't be able to farm until you start Doom 3. Alpha Raid, Beta Raid, and Gamma Raid, these orbs are going to be from the Greek orbs, and I just kind of open these as they come, and it's going to give you specific characters in relation to those raids. Arena Store, that's about the only one I don't open the Arena orb. I just don't like this orb. It's not very good. And Cosmic Crucible, resist the temptation to open this orb. It's going to use your Elite Crucible credits. You're going to want to use those Elite credits to farm these characters, so avoid opening these orbs. I know it's tempting, but try to avoid that. Last store is the Elite Store, and this is where, by opening those red star orbs when they're at the 10 times, eventually you'll start building up these Elite promotion credits, and this is when you're going to want to open these is during those featured characters. I would say a lot of the times, unless a character is very easily farmable, I normally kind of stop at the Elite 5s. For a character that is going to be easily farmable, I might open a 6 or a 7. Keep in mind, though, getting an Elite 7 orb is going to take quite a bit of credits, because the way it works is, by opening standard red star orbs, if you get a duplicate, you will get these Elite 4 credits. Once you get to 5,000, you can open up an Elite 4. When you open up an Elite 4, you're going to get these Elite 5 credits. Once you get to 5,000, you can open up one of these orbs and, pull a 5-star character. And then, if you pull from this Elite 5 orb and you get a duplicate, you'll then get Elite 6 credits, and then you can open Elite 6. Once you open an Elite 6, if you open, you're guaranteed to get a 6-star character, a 6 red star character. Any duplicates will then feed towards this Elite 7 orb. So this Elite 7 orb, they're a lot more finite as they go down. So, Elite 4s become fairly common, Elite 5s fairly common, Elite 6s less common, and Elite 7s are going to be the most rare. In your ISO 8 store, again, you can just open these as you get access to them. They're going to build up your ISO 8 material as well as your ions. So that is the stores as well as farming the campaign nodes. So that is going to end part 2. I will be following up with part 3, which will just be kind of talking about how you are going to build up your supply of power cores, and then also just talking about raiding. Well, we'll talk raiding as well as blitzing and the Cosmic Crucible store. So if you found this video helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a good week. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.